What is up, my Lorcana goons? Welcome to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and today we're going to talk about some Lorcana stuff today. I have a variety of deck lists for you. We're going to go down the top 8 for the recent PPG tournament that happened this weekend at Galaxy Con, and then we're going to go through the top 8 of the recent Pax Unplugged tournament that happened over the weekend as well. I believe Pax was in Philadelphia area or something like that, but PPG had a total of, it was 46 players. That's pretty crazy. It's kind of big for a Lorcana tournament, right? And PAX had a total of what seemed to be 60 some players, or more than 60 players for the PAX tournament. Wow, that's pretty big for a tournament in my opinion. I think Lorcana is starting to see a lot more popularity, at least at bigger events. I am not too familiar with PAX Unplugged, otherwise I probably would have planned for it maybe, but yeah, 62 players for PAX Unplugged. And I do want to give a shout out to the Forbidden Mountain, because they're the ones that got the deck lists up for us, and they were doing some awesome coverage over the weekend for the PAX tournament, so that was pretty cool of them. And obviously shout out PPG for always throwing some big events and getting those deck lists out for us. And then I have some more deck lists that are from some local goons who have been seeing some great tournament results at their locals, because a lot of these deck lists that are meta are going to look very similar. So I also know that we don't want to see 15 Ruby Amethyst decks in depth, right? We're gonna try and get some diversity in here. But before I get into all of that, I do want to say like, comment, and subscribe if you are a Lorcana goon, because we do appreciate it. And in fact, I appreciate it so much that I want to do a giveaway this time for 2 starter decks. And this is a thank you to all the goons that have been subscribing, because this morning we woke up to 1,000 subscribers. There's 1,000 goons now in the subscriber pool, so I appreciate you goons so much. We're gonna do a giveaway for one of each starter deck. All you got to do is comment below what your favorite deck list from this video is, and just give me an opinion on why you like it, and if you're playing it, etc, etc. And that's all you got to do. You got to be subscribed and just drop a comment. So I'm just gonna filter those 2. But yeah, thanks again for subscribing. 1,000 goons is not what I expected, and I very much appreciate it. But enough of the sappy stuff. By the way, I hate to be that dude, but you have to be in the US to enter the giveaway. I'm sorry, I don't do international shipping. Next giveaway, we'll do it around the world. Just this time though, just the US. I'm sorry, but thank you to all the goons that are not from the US or Canada. I know, I look at the analytics, and there's a lot of people who are subscribing from across the seas, so you guys are dope. You goons are amazing. All right, we're going to be starting off with the results from the PAX Unplugged tournament. And if you guys didn't know, 6 out of the 8 decks were Ruby Amethyst variants in this tournament, but our first place is going to be by Dave Pendergrass. It was a Amber Steel deck playing Sleepy's Flute. Now, we've known about Sleepy's Flute over the weekend, gaining some hype, and this is why. Check this out. It is going to be a deck consisting of 4 of the following: Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, Stitch New Dog, Queen Goons, Simba Protective Cub, Cinderella Knight in Training, Ariel Spectacular Singer, the Queen Commanding Presence, Rockstar Stitch, Cinderella, that's going to be the Stout Hearted, Let the Storm Rage On, Strength of a Raging Fire, Whole New World, Grab Your Swords, and Sleepy's Flute. All of those cards playing 4 of in the deck. And then we have 2 of the following: Be Our Guest and Zero to Hero. This deck looks consistent, in my opinion, if I've ever seen one. You can tell that this deck was built specifically around Sleepy's Flute, and I think that there's a reason for that, given the recent meta. Obviously, we've seen the Merlin package just run rampant in the last week or so, in combination with Ruby cards, makes it extremely powerful. And this build doesn't play certain cards like the other Amber Steel list play. I want to say like the Tragic Beast or Rapunzel or even Surfer Stitch. It looks like you're really just trying to capitalize on using as many songs as you can, even some songs that may not even resolve fully, but just so you can trigger your Sleepy's Flutes. The thing about Sleepy Flutes that's crazy is that if you have multiple on the board, you don't have to pay any extra ink. You just play a song that turn, you can trigger each one. So if you activate a Let the Storm Rage on and you have 4 Sleepy's Flutes on the board, you deal damage, draw a card, and then you gain 4 lore. Next turn, you activate a Strength of a Raging Fire, deal damage, gain 4 lore. You can even just play Zero to Hero. You don't have to play any characters, but if you have Sleepy's Flute, 4 of them, you gain 4 lore. The deck is nice. You guys got to try it out. I think it speaks for itself looking at these deck lists. I was having a conversation with my cousin about Lorcana, how right now you can kind of cater your deck based off of what you're going to expect at a tournament, and you don't have to play like the best cards like Rapunzel, Surfer Stitch. You can really capitalize on having a strategy right now in Lorcana, and executing that strategy will get you some dubs. So congrats to you, Dave Pendergrass, on this awesome Amber Steel list that none of us were expecting. This single-handedly made the price of one card quadruple overnight. Kind of crazy. Then we have second place, Juice Mark the Goods. This is going to be a Ruby Amethyst list. We've seen this before, and this is slowly becoming like the staple Ruby Amethyst engine you play. Kind of a early dominance up until you clear the board with Be Prepared, and then you try to secure that dominance using the rest of your Merlin package. So this deck is very powerful in the Merlin package, and Merlin and Madame Mim are very strong in the beginning of the game, and a lot of the times the opposing player wastes a lot of resources combating your early aggro start, and then as the game progresses, you start playing Lady Tremaine, Be Prepared, Yzma, Maui's, and you start taking control again. And by that point, all you have to really do is use Minnie Mouse, Goats, and even a couple Arthurs every now and then to kind of secure the game. They're not playing Spellbook, which is usually something that people debate on, but they are playing Arthur. You know, I've seen people kind of play around with not playing Arthur at all in a more control-based version. This seems a little bit more aggressive, so you do play Arthur. Maybe you play Spellbook in the more control-based version, but second place, Ruby Amethyst right here, and the deck is consisting of 4 of the following. There's only 4 ofs in this deck. There's no 3 ofs, only 4 ofs. We have Olaf, Pascal, Madame Mim Snake, LeFou, Arthur, Madame Mim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Minnie Mouse Surfer, Merlin the Goat, Merlin the Rabbit, Maui Hero to All, Scary Yzma, Big Lady Tremaine, Friends on the Other Side, and Be Prepared. All 4 ofs. I am loving this consistency, my goons. Oh my goodness. This is how you deck build, by the way. Just pick the best cards in the game that you think are going to synergize together, obviously, and then you just gotta play 4 of all of them. And I mean, that's not gonna be the end all be all. You gotta play it, you know what I mean? But still, this, in my opinion, is how you make sure you see the cards you want to see, by maxing out on 4 of the best cards. All right, now we have another Ruby Amethyst. Like I said, it's a deck consisting of 4 of the following: Minnie Mouse, Madame Mim Snake, Madame Mim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin the Goat, Merlin Rabbit, Scary Yzma, Lady Tremaine, Teeth and Ambitions, Friends on the Other Side, and Be Prepared. Those were the 4 ofs in this deck. Now we have 3 of the following: Minnie Mouse Surfer, Maui Hero to All, Maleficent Monstrous Dragon. Those were the 3 ofs. Now we have 2 of the following: Pinocchio Talkative Puppet. That's the Pinocchio that exerts an opposing character. They're playing 2 of the Lady Tremaine. That is the 2-drop Lady Tremaine, not the Big Tremaine, Little Tremaine, which I think is correct right now. I'll explain that in my opinion why. And then we have 2 of the Sorcerer's Spellbook. Okay, and only 1 Olaf. I guess in this case, there is a reason to play 1 of, because maybe you just want to see a 5th 1-ink character and that's it. So that makes sense. You know, you don't want to see too many 1-drops, so maybe just a 5th one so you can kind of maximize your opening, your turn 1 curve, right? But I think you do play a Lady Tremaine, the 2-ink character Lady Tremaine, mainly because right now there's a lot of hyper aggro decks, right? So this immediately counters a hyper aggro deck if they go first. They quest with the Lilo, they pass. On turn 2 they play Simba, they pass. If you play Lady Tremaine on turn 2, you make them lose a lore, which is always good against aggro decks. It's even good against the opposing Merlin Mim matchup because they start gaining lore pretty quick. And then by turn 4, you're able to take advantage of the fact that you have the Lady Tremaine on board, because not only are you going to make them banish a character on turn 4, but you can also challenge with that Lady Tremaine as well. That's 3 damage that you can, you know, commit into a Simba or something, or even just another character. A lot of times players are not playing around this, but when they see it on the board, they know it's coming, so it starts kind of triggering that kind of 6th sense. So it's kind of like playing Aladdin last format. You know, you play this, and then your opponent has to play around the opposing Tremaine that's coming, right? Now we have another Ruby Amethyst Bounds engine. This is by Blue Derpy Turtle. Even this deck is going to consist of 4 of the following: Pascal, Madame Mim Snake, Pinocchio, LeFou, Madame Mim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin the Goat, Maui Hero to All, Friends on the Other Side, Be Prepared. Then we have 3 of the following: Olaf, Arthur, Mini Surfer. We also have Merlin at 3, Scary Yzma, and Lady Tremaine, Imperious Queen. Those are going to be the 3 ofs in the deck. And last but not least, we have 2 Shield of Virtue. Okay, so this list is playing Pinocchio, where a lot of other lists were not playing Pinocchio, which is something that I noticed. Maybe it might be tailored to a little bit more of an aggressive style, you think? but it looks kind of like a similar list where you're doing the same thing. You're going aggressive in the beginning of the game, and then you're clearing the board with Be Prepared. Shield of Virtue is a nice tech too, though. I wonder how far that got you, right? Because maybe you just Shield of Virtue your own Pinocchio, right? Now we have the next Ruby Amethyst list. This is going to be actually the same list as the second place, and according to the Forbidden Mountain, both players were playing the exact same list. This is a super consistent list in my opinion, and I think this is probably a way you want to try this deck out, right? And I believe second place was Steven Silverman, which is a prominent Yu-Gi-Oh champion. Then we have the Forbidden Mountain Dan. Now he's actually part of the Forbidden Mountain team and channel, and he was in top 8. He ended with a Ruby Amethyst in top 8, and he was playing 4 of the following: Madam Mim Snake, Minnie Mouse, Madam Mim Fox, Merlin the Goat, Merlin the Rabbit, Maui, Hero to All, Lady Tremaine, the Big Tremaine, Imperious Queen, Maleficent, Monstrous Dragon, Teeth and Ambitions, Friends on the Other Side. Those are all the 4 ofs in this deck. Then we have 3 of the following: a Lady Tremaine, that's the small Tremaine, just like I said, you gotta play it. Then we have Arthur. We also have a Minnie Mouse Surfer and Be Prepared at 3. Not 4 Be Prepared. Very interesting. I would love to hear your opinion on that and your reasoning on that. Okay, and then we have 2 of the following: Olaf, LeFou, Maleficent Sorceress, and Scary Yzma. Okay, we usually see people max out on the Maleficent Sorceress, but I do like the use of LeFou in decks like this right now, and in general, I do want to know why only 3 Be Prepared. But 4 Lady Tremaine and 3 of the small Lady Tremaine. So we're playing 3 of the 2 Ink Lady Tremaine and 4 of the shiftable Tremaine. I like that a lot. That's just like what I was saying. It combats the aggro decks, and it combats the mirror match because it lets you drop Tremaine like turns earlier, right? And we have another Ruby Amethyst. I know we're tired of this, guys, but let's get on into this list. We have 4 of the following: Minnie Mouse, Madam Mim Snake, Madam Mim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin Goat, Merlin Rabbit, Maui, Scary Yzma, Big Tremaine, Maleficent Dragon, Friends on the Other Side. Then we have 3 of the following: Be Prepared, Teeth and Ambitions, and Minnie Mouse Surfer. Then we have 2 of the following: Olaf, Lady Tremaine, that is the 2 ink character, small Tremaine, and Spellbooks, the Sorcerer's Spellbook. And last, we have 1 copy of the Most Diabolical Scheme. I like to see that. So you're gonna banish our own character to pop a character. Okay, not bad. No Dragonfire, but instead we're playing that, right? So a variety of ways you can play your Ruby Amethyst deck. And last but not least, we have a Sapphire Ruby deck, Popsicle Control, making a cameo appearance in this top 8 at PAX. So we have the following deck list that consists of 4 Mickey Mouse Detective, Belle Strange but Special, Hiram Flavorsham. We also have 4 Maleficent Dragon, 4 One Jump Ahead, 4 Be Prepared, and obviously we gotta play 4 Popsicle, right? Then we have 3 of the following: Judy Hopps, Nick Wilde, Maui, Teeth and Ambitions, Develop Your Brain, Tamatoa, Hades, Infernal Schemer, and Fishbone Quill. Those are all the 3 ofs in the deck. Then we have 2 of the following: Scepter of Arendelle, Shield of Virtue. We also have Lady Tremaine, Big Tremaine at 2. And then we have 1 Let It Go, and that is going to be all for. Oh, we actually have 1 Scar Vicious Cheater as well, so that's kind of cool. I'm really liking Scar Vicious Cheater in the Popsicle deck right now. I'm playing Popsicle in real life. I've learned also that I should be playing the Lady Tremaine combos, the small and big Tremaine. They are not, but they saw success playing interesting techs that I've never used in Popsicle myself, like Belle and Mickey Mouse. So I really want to know how Belle did with this deck in general. Or like, you know, if it met like its use case. I'm pretty sure it did though, right? If they ended up in top 8. So that's kind of cool to see. Belle, a new tech card maybe in the Popsicle meta. So be on the lookout for that. I guess it kind of does make sense to play Belle, because in Popsicle you end up inking all the way to like nearly 18 ink half the time or something like that, because you can just control the game for so long. And then if you just drop Belle, that's, you know, that's 10 lore right there. So yeah, maybe you do play Belle. Maybe that's why Belle was going up over the weekend. That makes sense. Now the market price makes sense to me. But that was the top 8 breakdown from the PAX Unplugged. Thanks again, the Forbidden Mountain, for all your coverage and getting these top 8 deck lists. We're going to go and head onto the PPG Galaxy Con 2K. We also have a top 8 breakdown for them. It's going to consist of a variety of decks, so let's get on into this. Now, this tournament consisted of 46 players, with our first placed being a Amber Amethyst deck, bounce control piloted by Caitlin Calorel. So congratulations to you, Caitlin, on your first place with this Hyper Aggro Bounce deck. This looks super fun. We've seen this deck before, but there's some spicy text in here, so let's get on into it. It has 4 of the following: Lilo, Maleficent Biding Her Time, Pascal, LeFou, Simba, Protective Cub, Madame Mim Snake, Pinocchio Star Attraction, Arthur, Madame Mim Fox, Merlin the Goat, Befuddle, Be Our Guest, and Friends on the Other Side. Those are the 4 in this deck. Then we have 3 of the following: Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, and Merlin the Rabbit. Those are the only 3 in this deck. And then we play 2 of the following: Doc. Okay, so we play a 2 Doc instead of maxing out on the Cinderella and the Merlin Rabbit, but everything else we're playing 4 of. Again, super consistent deck. I really like to see it. I really want to know why only 1 Cinderella Ballroom Sensation though. Maybe it's just that's all you only need 3. You only want to see it on turn 1 sometimes. Maybe when you can combo it off. I don't know. I want to hear some opinions. But congratulations to you, Kate, on this first place PPG 2K tournament. That's freaking awesome. I love to see consistent decks win. It's always good to see. Hyper Aggro, man. Hyper Aggro. These decks are definitely gonna close the game out against you pretty quick, so you have to, pun intended, be prepared. Either play something that can out this, or make sure you're on this side of the winning field. You know what I mean? I really like the Steel engine right now because it stops this deck, but this deck is definitely something to be afraid of. Overall, you have to respect it in the meta because it does have a very powerful win condition. We will go on to the second place list. This was a Ruby Amethyst deck by Dusty Hostler. And now we're gonna get into this. This deck has 4 of the following: Pascal, Madame Mim Snake, LeFou, Madame Mim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin the Goat, Merlin the Rabbit, Maui, Hero to All, Yzma, Big Lady Tremaine, Maleficent Monsters Dragon, Friends on the Other Side, and Be Prepared. Those are the 4. Then we have 3 of the following: Arthur, Sorcerer's Spellbook, and that's going to be all for the 3 in this deck. And to round it off, we have 2 of the following: Elsa, Spirit of Winter. So I guess we're not maxing out on Spellbook and Arthur and playing 2 Elsa at the end of that, 8 to 9 curve. So that's kind of cool. We see the Spellbook in this list because it seems like this list is a little bit more control based. There's not that many aggressive cards. We don't see Pinocchio. We do still see Arthur, but overall we're maxing out on Scary Yzma and Big Lady Tremaine. Even playing cards like Elsa to make sure our opponent cannot complete the 20 lore challenge. So that is going to be the second place list. Now we have our third place list. It's another Ruby Amethyst. Yes, of course, Ruby Amethyst deck. It's going to be by Trenton Hostler. I wonder if there's a relation. The 2 people with the same last name. That's cool. In 3rd and 4th place. Wow. All right. So now we have 4 of the following: Pascal, a Maleficent Sorceress, 4 Fidget, ooh, interesting, Merlin the Goat, Maui, Hero to All, 4 Scary Yzma, 4 Maleficent Monsters Dragon, Be Prepared, Friends on the Other Side. Those are the 4 in the deck. Then we have 3 of the following: Madame Mim Snake, Madame Mim Fox, Merlin the Rabbit, Lady Tremaine, Imperious Queen, that's the shiftable one, and Sorcerer's Spellbook at 3. Then we have 2 of the following: Minnie Mouse, LeFou, Rush Queen, Arthur, Elsa, Spirit of Winter, and those are going to be the 2 in the deck to round it off. Interesting deck list. I want to give a shout out to this dude for playing Fidget. The person that won our Enchanted Shere Khan tournament was also playing Fidget. They were playing, I think, 3 or 2 Fidget in their deck, and the idea is that it's an evasive character that outs the evasive mini surfer. That's what he was telling me. I do have a deck profile for him. I'll share his list in the video as well, and I'm going to upload another video this week where he kind of just does an old school deck profile to explain his reasoning, and I even recorded the final match for our Enchanted tournament, and yeah, so you're going to be able to see that, which is a Ruby Amethyst mirror match. But I'm going to upload that video throughout the week. But yeah, he's not the only person on Fidget, I guess. So Fidget is a character. It's a 3/3/2 with like I can gain 1 lore that has evasive, and that's really all he is. It's just an evasive character that lets you kind of put pressure on the board, but like I mentioned before, it outs the other opposing evasive characters like Flynn Rider and the new Minnie Mouse, and it also contests the opposing Pascal. So it does have a lot of use case. I'm not sure how playing 4 would go, but hey man, fourth place with it. Sorry, third place with it. So that's kind of cool. We have our fourth place list. Tyler Nicola also playing Ruby Amethyst. Can you believe it? I can believe it. It's gonna have 4 of the following: Madam Nim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin Goat, Merlin Rabbit, Scary Yzma, Big Lady Tremaine, Teeth and Ambitions, Friends on the Other Side, Be Prepared, and that's gonna be, oh, and 4 Olaf. Then we have 3 of the following cards: Big Lady Tremaine, Maleficent Monsters Dragon, Maui Hero to All. And then we have 2 of the following: Pinocchio Talkative Puppet, that's the Pinocchio that exerts your opposing character, the 2 Ink Small Lady Tremaine, and then we have 2 of the most diabolical scheme, and to round that off, 2 Sorcerer's Spellbook. And then we're playing 1 Minnie Mouse. Okay, so I guess multiple people just want to have that 5th 1-drop character, right? So pretty cool. I'm wondering if the most diabolical scheme might be the Goo. It's the 2nd time we've seen it, but as you guys can tell, multiple players have been playing the Lady Tremaine combo package, where you're playing the small Tremaine and the big Tremaine. So very important, in my opinion, in most Ruby engines to play that package right now, especially if you can kind of control the game, right? I do also really like Pinocchio Talkative Puppet. I think that card is very slept on in the Amethyst kind of mirror matches, so that's kind of cool, right? And we have a 5th place. This is going to be something a little bit different. Finally, we have an Amethyst Emerald list by Logan Taylor. Congrats to you. It's congrats to everybody in this top list. And this is going to be an aggressive deck. So we're going to break this down. It consists of 4 of the following: Maleficent Biding Her Time, Pascal, Madam Nim Snake, Enchantress, Flynn Rider, Arthur, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin Go, Donald Duck, the Floodborn Donald Duck, that's kind of cool, Cusco, and Befuddle with Friends on the Other Side as well. Okay, and then we have 3 of the following: Pinocchio Star Attraction, and that's going to be it. And then we have 2 of the following: Madam Nim Fox, Cheshire Cat, Merlin the Rabbit, and then Sorcerer's Spellbook. And last, we have 1 copy of Genie on the Job. Okay. Me, not a fan of 1-drops, but I do want to ask, why only 2 Madam Nim Fox? I feel like Madam Nim Fox is so powerful, but maybe because it's a very aggressive deck. It's hyper aggro, it says. So you're probably trying to drop a Maleficent and Pascal, and then immediately curve into maybe a Pinocchio, with a fox or something, but it just looks like you're trying to keep control of that game state, because you're playing 4 Befuddle, and 4 Befuddle in this format seems kind of nice, right? Because you just start bouncing the opposing Mim Snakes, the Pinocchios, the LeFous, the Pascals, all those cards. So playing 4 of those, and for Cusco. I thought we were done with Cusco this format. I thought people said Cusco wasn't good anymore. I've always thought Cusco was good. This makes total sense to me, so I like to see a good Cusco deck. Let me know what you guys think of this list and all the lists that we've gone over today in the comments below. I want to try something like this out because I think the Merlin engine does synergize very well with an aggressive Emerald engine. I was trying it out with the discard engine at first, but it was too slow, so maybe it does kind of make sense to play this with stuff like Enchantress and Donald Duck and cards that just put a lot of pressure on board. So kind of cool. Maybe I'm gonna try that on Pixelborn. Now we have our 6th place. This is going to be an Amber Steel song by Brandon Mix. So shout out you for the Amber Steel song in this top 8. It's going to be 4 of the following: Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, Stitch New Dog, Queen Goons, Simba Protective Cub, Ariel Spectacular Singer, Queen Commanding Presence, Rockstar Stitch, Giant Tinkerbell, Whole New World, Grab Your Swords. Those are the 4s in this deck. Then we have 3 of the following: Benja, Tinkerbell Tiny Tactician, Rapunzel, Beast Tragic Hero, aka Sad Boy Beast. Then we have Let the Storm Rage On at 3 to round that off. And then we have 2 of the following: Strength of a Raging Fire and Lantern. And last but not least, we have 1 World's Greatest Criminal Mind. Not my favorite card. Definitely not my favorite card to play one of in a deck. But hey, you're playing for Whole New World. You're playing for Ariel. You're probably going to see it at some point, right? Whether it be for ink or whether it be because you can out the opposing Big Cindy. But notice there is no Big Cinderella in this deck. That is very interesting. So you just cut it out. We're just done with that now. We're not playing Stout-Hearted Cindy anymore. I appreciate that we've gone back to playing the Tinkerbell package, especially the Tactician Tinkerbell package, because you have to respect the Merlin deck. If you guys didn't remember last format, shifting Tinkerbell and Grab Your Swords is 3 damage, which pretty much eradicates any opposing Merlin or Mim cards. You know, usually it's hard to deal that extra one type of damage because you're playing Let the Storm Rage on now, which only deals 2 and grab your swords. But when you combo it off with Tinkerbell, it doesn't even matter anymore. You're just dealing 3 damage. I want to play Smash in my Amber Steel deck list right now because I think Smash is good for that reason. But yeah, it's good to see people kind of catching on to the meta trends. I'm not saying Cinderella Stouthearted is bad by any means. It's just not the card for the meta right now because of the way everybody's playing Ruby Amethyst, which is probably the most popular deck. Actually, is the most popular deck, we can tell. Crazy how in 1 week we went from Popsicle meta, Popsicle best deck, everyone was freaking out about Popsicle, and now we've seen 1 Popsicle so far in all these lists. And now we have the 7th place. This is going to be a Ruby Amethyst consisting of 4 Olaf, Madam Mim Snake, Madam Mim Fox, Maleficent Sorceress, Merlin the Goat, Merlin the Rabbit, Scary Yzma, Big Tremaine, Teeth and Ambitions, Friends on the Other Side, Be Prepared. Then we have 3 of the following: Minnie Mouse Surfer, Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, Maui, Hero to All. Alright, then we have 2 of the following: Pinocchio Talkative Puppet, Lady Tremaine, the 2 ink character, and Sorcerer's Spellbook. And that's gonna round off that deck with only 1 Minnie Mouse. So yeah, we are definitely on this 5 1-drop characters, and that's it. So I mean, that does make sense to play 1 Minnie Mouse, you know, because you just want to see, you want to see just 5 1-drop characters to kind of just expand that a little bit. And yeah, you know, we've seen very similar lists throughout this video already, but I really like that we're seeing the Lady Tremaine come in, right, and the Pinocchio Talkative Puppet. Those are the key points that I want to kind of notice about like the new Ruby Amethyst engines that are being played. So and last but not least, we have a Paw Patrol deck from the PPG by Matthew Beeman. By the way, I didn't shout out Matthew Campo, which was the person before, but shout out both you guys. Shout out both Matthews about Matthew Beeman with this Popsicle Ruby Sapphire deck consisting of 4 of the following: Grandma Tala, Baby Noy, Judy Hops, Hiram Flavorsham, Nick Wild, aka Nicky Dubs, Tamatoa, Teeth and Ambitions, Let It Go, Be Prepared, Shield of Virtue, Popsicle, and Fishbone Quill. Wow, very consistent so far. And we have 3 of the following: Maui, Hero to All, Big Lady Tremaine, Hades Infernal Schemer, Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, and that's going to be the whole deck. Now, I've been playing 3 Maleficent Monstrous Dragon because I just couldn't get my hands on a 4th, and I've been feeling bad about not playing 4, but now this guy just made me feel pretty good about not playing 4 because he's showing me that I don't gotta play 4. I can just play 4 of every good card and maybe 3 of some of the less good cards. You know what I mean? Less consistent cards. So I love seeing this. Such a consistent way to play a deck like Popsicle. You know, you just want to make sure you capitalize on cards like Fishbone Quill, obviously Popsicle, Tamatoa. So you always have something to do in the game. I'm not a fan of Baby Noy. You guys let me know how it's doing for you in the format. I mean, I wasn't a fan of it like a week ago, but now it kind of does seem a little better that I'm seeing so much like Merlin engine. So I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think about it. It is a lot of pressure, but it's just not enough strength in my opinion. But that is going to be all for the PPG 2K Galaxy Con tournament. Once again, congrats to all the players who ended in top 8. I really need to get my head out there and start playing some of these tournaments because this looks so fun. And then congrats to Caitlin Calorel again for the first place list. We all really appreciate a good first place list, so a shout out to you. And just to round this video off, I'm going to go over some local goon shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Terrace Black. He went 4-0 at his locals the other night with a somewhat tweaked version of Ruby Amethyst Control. I'm not going to get super into it, but you can look at your screen to see some minor differences like Elsa Spirit of Winter being played in the deck, which is always nice to see a variety of a way you can play an Amethyst Ruby deck. We did see Elsa in one of these tournament top 8, so you know, some people are playing it in their locals and some people are playing it in the big premier events. And then we have a first place list from the Manticore online tournament that was hosted, I believe, by 20 Lore .pro. They're a Discord community, Discord server that does a lot of tournaments. This is going to be a Sapphire Steel list consisting of 4 of the following: Captain Hook, Flavorsham, Beast Tragic Hero, Cogsworth, the shiftable one, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, Hades Infernal Schemer, Fishbone Quill, Popsicle, Grab Your Swords, Whole New World, Let It Go, Smash, Develop Your Brain, and that's going to be all for the 4 of them. Then we play 2 of the following: Prince Eric, Tamatoa, Eye of the Fates. So hey, if you guys are on that Sapphire Steel vibe, check out this list. It got first place at a tournament. It was a small online tournament, but still was able to finish out. I think it was 3 or 4 rounds in first place. So this deck looks kind of fun. I think I'm gonna try it myself, like some of these other lists I've been seeing today. And I love a deck right now that plays Smash because that outs the Merlin package, like I was just saying. And everybody knows I love a deck that plays Tamatoa. Tamatoa being a goon himself. Also want to bring up Bryce Henry, another local goon who got first place at his locals with Sapphire Steel. Another Sapphire Steel list you guys might want to try out. It's playing 4 Hook, 4 Smash. It's going to be also playing 2 of the following: Cinderella Stouthearted, Giant Tinkerbell, Small Tinkerbell. Oh, the Sapphire Caterpillar, that's kind of fun. One Jump Ahead, Fishbone Quill, Winnie the Pooh, Prince Never Gives Up. Then we have 3 of the following: a Mickey Mouse Detective, Whole New World, Grab Your Swords at 4 actually, Kronk. So an interesting list, and it's always cool to see a list like this get first place at a local. So hey guys, if you guys are worried about not doing well at locals because you're missing some cards, or you just don't know about your deck list or something, just go out there and try it, man. You never know. There's some pretty cool lists that have been going out. I also want to give a shout out to Zach Bivens, top 4 at a 1K in North Carolina, playing a Ruby Steel, playing an Amber Steel deck that is not necessarily the same as all the other ones. So I'm gonna just go over it real quick. It's playing 4 Cinderella Barroom Sensation, Stitch New Dog, Simba Protective Cub. We also have Cinderella Knight in Training, 4 Ariel, 4 Beast Tragic Hero, aka Sad Boy Beast, Stitch Rockstar, Stitch Carefree Surfer, Whole New World, Grab Your Swords, and Lantern at 4. Then we have 3 of the following: Giant Tinkerbell, Benja, Strength of a Raging Fire, Let the Storm Rage On, Cindy Stouthearted, and that's going to be all for the 3 ofs. And we're only playing 1 Sebastian. Very interesting, Zach Bivens. He did leave a variety of explanation on how his deck performed. If you guys want to follow him on Twitter and read up on that, I suggest you do, because it is pretty cool. I do want to go over BTW because he is #1 on Pixelborn right now, and I strongly believe that you're going to be seeing some Pixelborn meta trends at your locals, or even if you play a lot of Pixelborn, you're going to be seeing some different decks. So BTW is #1 on Pixelborn now. He was playing a variety of deck lists. One of them in particular was Amber Steel. It looks like this. Nothing too crazy that I'm going to point out. I just want to show you guys what to expect. So if you want to net deck the #1 Pixelborn player's Amber Steel list, here it is. Take a picture. He also said that he was playing on ladder to get to #1 with a Ruby Amber deck. He calls it Mufasa, 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 and I'm going to go over it because I think this deck is really cool. It's playing 4 Stitch New Dog, Queen Goons, Simba Protective Cub, Mother Gothel, Surfer Mini. We also have Surfer Stitch, Rapunzel, Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, Lady Tremaine, that's the big Tremaine, Rockstar Stitch, Maui, the Queen, Commanding Presence, and Mufasa, the legendary Amber card from Rise of the Floodborn. And we have 3 of the following: Lantern and Doc. All right, and we have 2 of the following: Rush Queen, and that's going to round off that deck. A very consistent looking deck, a deck I have not tried yet, but I have played against on ladder a couple times on Pixelborn lately. So BTW single-handedly changing up our meta. If you guys want to try a ketchup mustard deck, I suggest maybe trying out this one. I'm just saying, but there are going to be some differences going down in online Lorcana space. So we also have Saucy K. He's in like the top of the Pixelborn ranking, like in the Grandmasters, and he's been grinding his way all the way up there with Amethyst Steel. And I really like this list. I want to go over it. So he's been seeing a lot of results. Another person you should follow, hop into these Discord channels that I'm mentioning if you want to just kind of keep up with more meta trends, and you can see them post their threads. Follow these guys on Twitter. You know, they just post a lot about how they're doing in the game. So it's playing 4 Captain Hook, Madam M Snake, Madam M Fox, Merlin the Goat, Merlin the Rabbit, Beast Tragic Hero, Scary Gizmo, Giant Tinkerbell, Let the Storm Rage On, and Grab Your Swords. Then we have 3 of the following. We have the 3 Ink Gizmo. This is the new one from Rise of the Floodborn. We have Benja, Tinkerbell, Tiny Tactician, Friends on the Other Side, Elsa, Spirit of Winter, and Sorcerer's Spellbook. Those are the 3 ofs in the deck, and we have 2 Strength of a Raging Fire, and that's going to be all. A very consistent looking list as well. It looks like you're really just trying to keep control, do some mid-range kind of plays. I was reading his thread, and he he was saying that this deck plays a lot like the way Ruby Amethyst used to play last format. And I personally like this deck a lot right now too, because again, the Steel package just is so strong against hyper aggro decks. It's so strong against the Merlin Mim package, and it's super strong against the Amber Steel intro package when they have Cinderellas and Queens and Stitches. You know what I mean? I am very fond of this color combination, and I think you guys are sleeping on it. Not everyone's sleeping on it though, and we can see that by the top 10 decks by total games played. This Pixelborn data provided by the Pixelborn Discord, but also broken down and compiled into this nice chart by Gilly Gabby. And this dude does a lot for the Lorcana community. Follow him on Twitter, follow him on YouTube, check out his content. It's goated, and I'm pretty sure you've seen these charts before, kind of shared around in the internet space, but it's gonna show the breakdown of all the most popular decks on Pixelborn. And you know, Ruby Amethyst, and no surprise, is the most played deck from the top 100 players, right? So this is only a small section of all the data that Pixelborn provides in their Discord, but Gilly does an amazing job at like giving us kind of a perspective on what to expect either online or at locals. And it seems like you're gonna see a bunch of Ruby Amethyst because that color combination is very strong. However, there's nuance to how people are playing Ruby Amethyst, so make sure you're kind of paying attention to all these lists so you can tell the difference between whether or not you're playing against bounce control, a hyper control, or an aggro bounce version. You know what I mean? And hyper control meaning the kind of more old school way where you're really playing stuff like Elsa and playing into the long game so that you can make sure your opponent doesn't ever do anything. Obviously, aggro bounce is just playing cards like Pinocchio and trying to end the game quickly, whereas bounce control is combining both of those together, which I think might be the B de Candio list, where it's playing Surfer Minis, a lot of early aggression, and then finishes off with Yzma, Tremaine, and Be Prepared. So you can see that popsicle control has been dwindling down in numbers. It's not as huge as it was a week ago, with only about 804 the games played with that color combination. And it seems like Ruby Steel is probably the only other color combination that's really up there, but Amethyst Steel is like trickling on up there too as well, right above Hyper Aggro. And I think a lot of it has to do with Sasuke, because he's like, that guy plays a lot, but it also has a lot to do with the meta trends and other people kind of adapting to the fact that the Merlin package is becoming so popular right now. And unfortunately, Paw Patrol, certain colors like Emerald, Amber just can't keep up the same way. And you know, we did want to see a lot of like the discard engine become popular in Lorcana, but it's just not. It just doesn't seem like it can generate enough value, right? But thanks again, Gilly Gabby, for providing this data to show us what the most popular decks of the week are online. In my opinion, the Pixelborn meta is a lot different than the in real life meta. So try not to let this convince you too much from not going to locals or on what you're going to expect at locals, because a lot of times people just can't get cards. Pixelborn, you have access to every card in the game. In real life, you don't. You know, I'm missing cards from my deck, and I feel like I buy a lot of product. I've been able to get my hands on a lot of product, right? Last, I want to give a shout out to Ryan Kellogg's. This goon got second place at his locals. He didn't even post his list. He posted the list that got first place because he thought it was really interesting. He dropped this in our Discord. So if you are a Lorcana goon, join our Discord and share the spicy deck list with us so I can talk about them on this video. This is an Amber Steel list playing cards that are not too familiar with this format, like You Have Forgotten Me, Pick a Fight. We also have a Mufasa in this deck, and the Jafar package, just so you can draw some extra cards and challenge those evasive characters. So pretty interesting list. It has Beast Mare. It's not playing Whole New World. If you guys want to try something like this, something to play Tiana in, try this deck list out. Maybe take it to locals or something. But that is going to be all for these deck list breakdowns. Thanks again for watching, Lorcana Goons. Thanks again for subscribing, guys. We're at 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. 1,000 goons. So once again, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons, and we will see you goons next time. And don't forget to drop which was your favorite deck list for a chance to win one of these starter decks.